The Vedas are talking of do your duty. Do your duty, but at the same time keep your mind in God. And then he ends the Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Arjun, give up all this and just surrender and devote yourself to me. You don't need to consider any of these. So now imagine 3 clearly distinct levels of instruction, the same one Bhagavad Gita, and the same thing with our scriptures. Shruti Puran Bahu Kaheu Upai Chutan Adhik Urjhai. The more you read the scriptures, the more confused you become. I approached them for knowledge, and what I got was doubt. If there was one single instruction, we could universally accept it and implement it. But our Vedas abound in this. You're going in this direction and suddenly there's a diversion. And then there is another diversion and another diversion. So the poor traveler becomes confused. So what should I do?
Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 3, Karma Yog. Verse chanting is followed by translation and commentary by Swami Mukundananda.
Yastvātmaratirev syāt ātmatriptascha mānavah ātmanyeva ca santuštah tasya karyam na vidyate.
But those who rejoice in the self, who are illumined and fully satisfied in the self, for them there is no duty.
Having talked all the while about duty, he now comes to this point saying that those who are illumined, for them there is no duty. That is what makes philosophy so complex. If there was one single instruction, we could universally accept it and implement it. But our Vedas abound in this. You're going in this direction and suddenly there's a diversion. And then there is another diversion and another diversion. So the poor traveler becomes confused. So what should I do? Well, the fact is, the Vedas and the Vedic literature are presenting subtle knowledge. So when knowledge is subtle, it has got numerous branches to it. It's like you can't fit the same shirt to everyone. Similarly, the same instruction doesn't fit everyone. Different shloks for different folks. Everybody is at a different level of enlightenment, at a different level of growth, different level of purification. Now, if there was one uniform instruction, it would not work for all of them. There are people for whom the instruction is you take the rosary beads, take the mala, and chant on it the name of God. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. That is a valid, bona fide instruction. But then are people who have discarded the mala and they are chanting with their breath, with every breath. Well, that is suitable for them. Now they find that the mala is an encumbrance because they wish to take the name of God always and there is no need to count. You don't count how many times you take the name of your beloved. Jaha name taha name nahi, taha nahi buddhi vyavahar. They want to take it always. That is their stage. And then there are people who are not taking the name of God. Why? Because their minds are naturally absorbed in God. The name was the means. They have reached the goal. Absorption in God. They don't feel the need of it. So there are all different categories of people. Now you try to fit everybody in one instruction. It is not possible. So the Vedas, they recognize this variety and they cater to it. That is the beauty of it. So the whole philosophy is so aligned. You have the Varnashram system. The Vedas are talking of do your duty, that's it. And then the Bhagavad Gita also, Sri Krishna starts with that, but then he moves to Karma Yog. Do your duty, but at the same time keep your mind in God. And then he ends the Gita in Karma Sannyas. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Arjun, give up all this and just surrender and devote yourself to me. You don't need to consider any of these. So now imagine 3 clearly distinct levels of instruction in the same one Bhagavad Gita. And the same thing with our scriptures. So that is why it is said that these scriptures must be understood with the help of a guru. If we try from our part, we will naturally become confused. Shruti Puran Bahu Kaheu Upai Chutana Adhika Adhika Urjhai. The more you read the scriptures, the more confused you become. I approached them for knowledge, and what I got was doubt. Mere theory does not result in understanding. A realization is needed. So approach a guru who has realized this knowledge. And through him, you will be able to clarify all these doubts, get a true understanding, and move on this process in a proper manner. When the theory is clarified, the practical will be easy. And if there is doubt in the theory, you will be confused at the time of the practical. So, it is important to clarify this. That is why the Vedas tell us, use the scriptures and understand them through the Guru. Now here Sri Krishna is the Guru of Arjuna, because Arjuna has surrendered to him. So although he is God, he is now in his divine Leela as Guru, and he is enlightening Arjuna. So having spoken throughout this chapter about duties, he now turns the topic and says, Arjuna, those who are enlightened have no duties. Why not? Because they are now directly performing the higher duty. There is one karma, the actions, and there is the other devotion or bhakti. So they've got hold of bhakti, devotion. Now that duty is immaterial to them. They are discharging a higher duty. These worldly duties, like I said, were meant for our gradual elevation. They have reached that point. They have passed through the university of the world. Like you have a university. Now the students in the university, it is obligatory for them to follow the rules of the university. If they don't have sufficient attendance, they will not be allowed to take the exam. They must attend the classes, they must submit their homeworks because they are students. Now somebody has passed the university. Now that person, if the professor says, I don't see you in college, what is this? Mr. Professor, tell these things to your students, don't tell them to me. I am already a graduate. This university is not applicable and relevant to me any longer. Similarly, the Vedas are meant for us, conditioned souls. to help us get enlightened. They are not for the enlightened souls. Brahmavit Shruti Murdhani. The Vedas are saying the enlightened soul places his feet on the head of the Vedas and walks. So the rules of the Vedas are not applicable to the God-realized saints. You can't ask the God-realized saints, this is the code of conduct in the world. Why are you not following it? The God-realized saint says, I am not of this world. I am directly with God. God himself is not obliged to follow dharma. We people, we get confused. Sri Krishna, why did he steal butter? Himself, he has instructed in the Bhagavad Gita, Satyam vada dharman chara dharman na pramaditavyam. You must not steal anything. And himself, he goes to the house of gopis to steal butter. He has no respect for the rules. What kind of God is he? The rules are not for him. The rules are for us. Even in the world, it is the same. There are a set of rules for the children. They are not applicable to the adults. The father says, Beta, it's your exam tomorrow. Sit and study. I and mummy will watch the television. The child says, Papa, what is this? You say something and do something. You are watching the television and making me study. I will also sit and do exactly what you are doing. The father says, my child, at your stage, this is your duty. When you grow up and you have a job, then you can also sit comfortably and watch the movie. But you can't copy what I am doing. Now, if we eliminate all these classes and say, well, we should all do the same thing, that is incorrect. Rules of the Vedas were created for us for our purification. Once the soul is with God, the Vedas return. Gunatitah sthita pragyo Vishnu bhaktascha kathyate etasya kritakrityatvat shastram asmani vartate. The Vishnu Puran is saying, Gunatitah sthita pragya. That soul who has attained God is now krit kritya. Krit is work that is done. Kritya is to do. So he has already done what he had to do. Because he has attained what he had to attain. So, Shastram asmani vartate. Now, those Shastras which were saying, this is right, this is wrong, this is vidhi, this is nishedh, they all return. He has gone beyond our territory. He has now gone to God. Just like, a Panditji, he gets a boy and a girl married. So he says, all right, now hold the hands. All right, now recite the mantras. Throw water like this. Circle around the fire. The ceremony is over. He says, I declare you husband and wife. I am now going. His work is finished. Now let's say after 5 years, the wife says, Panditji, all those vows you made my husband take, he is not following them. Panditji says, now whether you both follow or don't follow, that is your concern. My job is complete. My job was to unite you as husband-wife. After that, it is your lookout. Similarly, the Vedas are like that Panditji. The soul is to be united with God. Once that is done, the Vedas say, now our work is over. Now don't call us back. So, Sri Krishna makes it very clear, Arjun, I have told you all these duties. Now don't apply them. Guruji, you are telling us to do this and you are not doing it. Guruji is at a different level. Because whatever he is doing for the welfare of the souls. So that is why Sri Krishna says, Arjun, those souls who have got enlightened, for them there is no duty. But then this creates the confusion that what is Arjun supposed to do? Because Sri Krishna gave one instruction, then he gave the other. So for Arjun, what is the appropriate path now? Should he accept his duty or reject it? Ultimately, Arjun, he may pretend to be in ignorance, but he's actually God realized. So Arjun can say, well, in that case, I have no duty. So I don't have to fight this war. So Sri Krishna is going to resolve this in the coming verses in a very beautiful and convincing manner. So we will look into that, but not today, tomorrow.